I've once read that you would like to touch Dolly Partons breasts.
Well, they just look so amazing, and I wonder whether they'd be really hard, because they're fake, aren't they? So I think they'd be really, or would they be like bowling balls?
Hi, ich bin Julia von Pointer und ich sitze hier gerade mit Betsy, einer Newcomerin aus Wales, die gerade eine Single nach der anderen rausbringt. Betsy, how are you?
Good, very good. Happy to be here in Hamburg.
In the last few months, you've been releasing quite a few songs. How would you describe your music?
I think it's quite solely with like sad lyrics, but it's always quite uplifting, and a lot of, I love strings, so I put a lot of strings on it.
Was that the kind of music you grew up with?
I grew up with a big mix of music, actually, because my parents had a really varied record collection that I would listen to as a child. So it would be Fleetwood Mac, Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie, Vivaldi, just loads of different things.
Is there a big idol that you have?
I love Annie Lennox. She's amazing. I really like her style and her power and her voice.
You actually often get compared to Annie Lennox, right? And also to Cher with your voice. How do you feel about that?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, Cher is amazing as well and so glamorous.
But is it also a bit like pressure if you're compared to them?
I don't see it as pressure because I don't think I actually sound like them. I feel like I still sound like myself. So, but for me, it's just a massive compliment.
You have a new song called Little White Lies. Mm-hmm. Are there ever any situations where you tell white lies?
Sometimes, if somebody makes me a dinner that isn't very tasty, sometimes I might say it's nice.
You first started in fashion, right? Yeah. Tell me about it.
So I'm from a really rural place in Wales, and I've always wanted to do music, but it just, even for me to get to London was about 5.5, 6 hours. So I wanted to do something so that I could have a job and work and everything. And I've always liked art and fashion. So I went to do a degree in Central St. Martin's in London and did women's wear. And then I had an internship in Paris in Balenciaga, where I was offered a job, and then I stayed there designing for the catwalk shows. So until I gave up and came back to do music.
And what was your favorite thing about living in Paris?
The food. The food's so good and quite cheap.
Do you know any French?
A little bit, but I've forgotten it now. It's been a while since I've lived there, so.
Is there anything you can say to me in French?
Bonjour, ça va?
And why did you decide to quit that?
Well, just because music had always been my dream, and ever since I can remember that's been what I wanted to do. And when I was there, even though it was a wonderful experience, it was haunting me that I wasn't trying to do music. So that's why I gave up and to give this a go, and it's worked okay so far.
Your songs are quite personal. Mm-hmm. Was it hard to write some of them?
Some of them, I mean, Fair, which was one of the first songs I put out that was on my EP, I wrote when I was in that relationship, and I was actually crying when I recorded it and wrote it, so that was quite difficult. That was the most emotional one to write.
And how does it feel to perform those songs live?
It's kind of, well, with Fair, the emotion sort of comes back and things. So, you know, with the slower songs, it can get quite emotional, but it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to sing them, and to hear people singing them back to me and things is just amazing.
What do you like more, recording in the studio or performing?
Oh my God, that's a hard one. Because I like them both, I think, equally. But, I mean, it's a party atmosphere when I do live gigs, so, you know, that's always good. It's really fun. My fans are really, like, fun people.
Do you already have, like, a fan group that's always following you and that you're, like, greeting or something?
Yeah, I do. I have, I think there's one girl in Germany, actually, who's made a page for me and things. So I have some really good fans that I talk to, like, almost every day, so.
What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you on stage?
Do you know what? The last time I did, a couple of gigs ago, I was wearing far too much jewellery, and I had 3 belts on. And halfway through the thing, they all just kind of fell off me, and I looked like I was trying to get naked. So that was a bit bizarre. But I managed to style it out and make it look like a dance, so it was okay.
So you have quite a crazy style. How would you describe your style?
Over the top, trashy opulence, I think. It's always over the top. It's always glamorous, but it's never too chic. It's got an edge of Wales to it, I think, where I'm from. So.
Your time in the fashion industry, would you say that it influences you as a musician?
Yeah, definitely. It's given me like a really good background for when it comes to designing my artwork and planning the videos and what I'm going to look like. It's really helpful, so I can now direct all of that because of the things that I've learned in fashion. So that's really important to me, because the visual side of things is really important to my sound and me as an artist. So yeah, it's really helped.
Is there any song that you're most excited about performing?
I'm really excited about Little White Lies, the next one. Really excited. I think that's going to be killer.
Why? Is there anything special about it?
It's just really, I just love playing it. When I come on, it's normally the first one, and it's just totally gets everybody in the mood, you know? It's like bang.
If you could collab with any musician, alive or dead, who would you choose?
I'd love to work with Pharrell. I'd love to work with Kanye. And I'd also love to work with Dolly Parton.
I've once read that you would like to touch Dolly Partons breasts.
Wouldn't we all?
But why? What's that about?
Well, they just look so amazing, and I wonder whether they'd be really hard, because they're fake, aren't they? So I think they'd be really, or would they be like bowling balls or like two giant jellies? They're just sort of so unnatural that, you know, I'm curious.
And do you also like her style?
Yeah, I mean, she looks amazing. And it's very over the top. Very trashy opulence with her. Very over the top. But I love it. She's an inspiration.
What are your big goals for the next year?
It's to play more gigs and to get out there and meet more people and get my music out in the world. And I've got an album coming and some more singles, so lots to be getting on with.